Hello, we're here at the Get Set for Workboat conference in Rotterdam, and I'm joined by Rosanne van Houwlingen from Maritime and Offshore Netherlands. Just going to ask a few questions regarding the conference today. So from a Dutch operator and shipbuilder perspective, what are the biggest priorities for workboat operators?
Yeah, so what we see in the maritime industry as general is that we have to focus also on the competitiveness of the market and industry itself.
Yep.
So also looking into making workboats fully digitalized to increase the efficiency of the ships in operation itself.
Yep.
Besides that, what I'm personally focusing on and seeing as a priority is also the life cycle thinking of the ships itself, reusing the materials and components also in the workboat sector.
Okay, lovely, thank you. And so today at the conference we've heard discussions on insurance and finance for greener vessels, and how is that influencing investment?
Yeah, so if I narrow it down to also the circularity of the maritime industry, then you look into the business cases. So for example, if you compare a new build case and also a refit case, you have some challenges. We believe that refitting will also contribute to making or extending the lifetime of the current fleet and also making the current fleet more sustainable. However, the refit business case is quite challenging because it's unsure, there's a lot of unclarity whether if you refit an older vessel or older workboat, if you can have if it's paying off the investment itself. So we need to look into the financial side also of the refitting cases.
Okay, lovely, thank you. And so with regard to workboat efficiency, how important is staff training and behaviour in achieving this fuel efficiency?
Yeah, so I'm also focused with this question mainly on the behaviour and also the life cycle thinking of a workboat. So what you also see within the maritime and also the offshore industry, it starts off with thinking from a life cycle approach. So you have to think for implementing a circular strategy, you have to think about the design phase, the building phase, the operational phase, but also this dismantling phase. If you want to increase the circular potential of a workboat, you have to start at the beginning, at the design phase. Besides that, in each of the different life cycle phases, different stakeholders are active. So of course you start with the design offices and the shipyards, and then you go into the ship operators themselves and also the dismantling phase. But each stakeholder has a different role in the life cycle of a ship. So that's also a skill that we are trying to incorporate within the educational programs, that you need to consider the whole life cycle of a product, in this case a workboat, and you also need to consider the whole maritime value chain. So all the different stakeholders are connected to each other.
Yeah, well, there's so much to it, it's really interesting. So the circular economy session today highlighted the life cycle thinking. So are operators and shipbuilders adopting sustainable materials or refit strategies?
Yeah, so what you have seen during the session of circular thinking, we have some practical best practices from the industry itself, so from the offshore and the maritime side. So for example, Dame touched upon the business opportunities. So they are thinking about new business cases also for the workboats. So for example, leasing it, changing the ownership platforms. So that's quite interesting. If we go into the Herema presentation, so what Daniel also showed is mainly the circular maintenance of their crane vessels, but also their workboats. So when it's a good decision, where you're going to extend the lifetime of a workboat, or when are you going to buy a new one? And that's are the examples that they shown during the session.
Yeah, they've got some really good examples today. It's fantastic. So following on from the insights from here in Rotterdam, what innovations or solutions will you be exploring when you come to Seawork in June?
Yes, so during the Seawork exhibition, I'm mainly curious also about the life cycle design. So that's more like the modular approach of workboats. So also this morning we had the discussion on alternative fuels. Then you consider also the adaptability of workboats to different type of fuels in the future. So how do you make also workboats more future-proof? That, for example, in 10 years' time, you can also change the workboat itself, the alternative fuel to, for example, from conventional to methanol.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so that's what I'm most interested in.
Well, hopefully you will see all of that at Seawork and learn all about it.
Yes.
Lovely. Well, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you.
Yes, you too.